So, good evening, all. But today, our topic with which we've chosen to work on is children and academic improvements. And there's a very important agenda of us being here with this topic because we as a team are planning to work on the academic improvements of children. As mental health professionals, there's much more that we can do to help children, and there are various challenges that they go through that we've also looked into as counselors. Many of us are school counselors who and student counselors who work with students in college or in your private clinic. I begin this program by conveying my thanks to my fellow team members, Suhana, Navina, Aisha, and Ramya, for being part of this. So let us look into what is this label, slow learners. This is a topic, this is a heading that, or a label that I've been hearing to from the time that I've been in school. Slow learners, easily labeling people as slow learners. But nothing about what is happening with the child's life, and what impact that this kind of a label can cause on that particular child. Not on that particular child, but also the fellow classmates. How do they look at them? How do they treat them? Their own parents, the child's parents, how they look at them, and how the fellow classmates parents look at this particular child. All this is a very big stressor. And when it comes to academics, many parents and teachers, I feel most of them except a few, are focusing only on that academic aspect. Academics means studies. Studies now, how do they measure someone's studies is through their marks. What is their academic performance? How much they've scored in that particular test? How much is their score in a particular examination? 10th score in 12th score in how much did you get score in NEET? What is your cutoff? So this is what we are more concerned about. These numbers is what many of the parents are and teachers are concerned about, and other significant adults in the life of that particular child. Even a guest who just drops in. How do you study? How much marks do you get? Is a question that they generally ask. After the very next question, how are you? These are some questions which are put forward to a child. And if that particular individual is not able to give good marks, then the own sibling will be giggling behind. So that is the scenario of many children, because of which they go through many emotional problems. So many children, when you see, many of you have worked with me in the journey with expressive arts therapy. When we take up some assessments like the house tree person test or my favorite animal test, we know that we come to know a little bit about the emotional struggles a child faces. We come to know a little bit about the intelligence, the memory, and whether there are some traces of learning challenges with the child. From the interpretation, we come to know. Along with that, we also come to know about the emotional status of the child, whether the child is feeling protected enough. Not only physical protection, there is something called as emotional protection. Am I protected emotionally is a very big question mark. When I feel that I'm not good enough, not sufficient, just a second. Sorry, there's some external disturbance with the car parking. All right. So getting back. So, like this is a very difficult situation where the child is not feeling good enough. I don't feel good enough because of the fact that I'm not able to get good marks. So that individual can go through a lot of shame, can go through anger on themselves. The first anger will be on themselves. When I'm angry on myself and I'm not feeling good about my own self, that reflects out in the form of my behavior, anger towards others, hitting the other person, kicking the other person. No, that comes out in that form. And insult is like, I feel insulted when the papers are being distributed, when my marks are being called out in front of the classroom. And some teachers have this habit of arranging papers according to their marks. Higher marks will be arranged on top, and the lower marks you get, the papers will be arranged in that way. So this is all an insult for that particular child. They don't even understand in some schools still. It's been happening from my school days. Then you should think that how much we are still sticking on to marks of children, and how much we are putting down children emotionally when it comes to marks. Because the mark of the child, like, cannot be a very important component for us. um I mean, we need to like consider the overall well-being and kind of fears. I can be going through different kind of fears within my own self. It can be about my next exam. Before my next exam, I'm really scared. I have performance anxiety. So these are certain factors, and this wheel never ends. So when I'm taking some new initiatives to work on, when I'm working on a few things on certain tasks, and like somewhere I'm not appreciated enough, and I'm like not able to prove myself to my friends, to my teacher, to my parents that I'm someone who's worthy, because you're judging me based on my marks, my score, and next time you should do better, or else from next year you cannot continue in this school, is something that they might be saying. From the side of the parent, they might be getting these kind of comments like, we've invested a lot of money on your education, and we out of great difficulty got you this opportunity to get into this reputed school. And no such things, you have to like somehow do well and stick on to the school. The point here is whatever I'm able to do, whatever I'm capable of doing, only I can do. You cannot like put a bigger weightage on my head and make me carry it. If I'm able to carry 5 kgs, I can carry only 5 kgs. If I can try, maybe I can carry 5.5 kgs or 6 kgs. But you expect me to carry 10 kgs, which is not going to happen. Which is again a disappointment, not only for the child, for also the parents, and that's how it goes on. Lack of self esteem and self confidence. So continuously you keep doing this to me, somewhere there's a lag in. I feel that I don't respect my own self. That individual, the child, will not respect their own self, and we are bringing their confidence down. That can be very clearly shown in the kind of assessments that we provide for students. So, what are some of the common problems they go through? So, you might be knowing they'll be bullied by their fellow classmates, they can be cornered by certain teachers, they can get punished at home as well as in school. And generally, they have this habit of saying, don't mingle with this particular child, you will also get spoiled. When their teacher feels that they are not up to the mark, they will call the other children and tell them, don't mingle with this particular boy. I witnessed such things. He is not doing well in studies, so you are someone who's doing good in studies. If you mingle with that boy, you will also go down in studies, so don't do that kind of things, no. So it's very shameful to talk like this, because the other person is also a child, this person is also a child, and we are adults and we need to take some responsibility for what we're doing. And thereby mostly I think who attracts more of people is who are like very good at extracurricular activities, who are very good at certain tasks that the teacher gives, who is able to study well. So these are the kind of people who might be attracting more of friends. But the one who is constantly failing in exams, or no, not given much of an importance, and not treated well in school, can experience a lot of loneliness and lack of recognition from classroom to relatives, even in the relative circles. ஓ, அவளா, அவனா, மக்கு பையன், அவனோட பெருசா நீ வச்சுக்காத, what is he going to do? We will all like try for a good percentage. Maybe for him it is very difficult to even get a pass. The one family member will be supporting this statement by saying, I'm not expecting him to get great marks, I'll be very happy if he at least gets a pass mark. This kind of discussions happening very casually at home is of great difficulty for that child to face emotionally. How can we help? So we have an important role here to help people, and we know what can be done in order to provide help as mental health professionals. First of all, we have an important responsibility to carry around, that marks can't decide the worth and the value of your child. The child is beyond the marks. Everyone has their own skill set. I think that we need to carry in mind. Not that everyone is great at everything. And today, not that all the girls who I studied in a girls' school, not all the girls who studied, who got above 90 marks are doing very great in their careers. And the ones who were just getting just pass, or they were just getting a first class, are sitting doing nothing. It's not at all like that. So it's very different. Life is very different for different people. And definitely our marks does not decide our destiny, and we can have a lot of comparative studies based on it, depending on our own lives and our own people we meet, our friends, our classmates, our colleagues, our juniors, our seniors, and our own people in the relative circle. Everybody has a like they're doing what they're destined to, and I think mark has nothing to do here. And we are not in competition with anyone, because everybody has their own individuality, everybody has their individual working styles and patterns. Check on the reason why your child's performance is low. So that is what we need to do here. Instead of the parent or the teacher thinking emotionally, check on the reason why your child's performance is low. So what can be done? So these are certain things, see, certain reasons, not all the reasons are put down, but certain reasons can be that the child has difficulty with reading and writing. So a school counselor can, who is trained in special education, will be able to do a testing where paper pencil work, where they will know the reading age and the spelling age of the child. That can be calculated and give you can generate a score out of it, and based on that the required help can be provided to the student. Secondly, check for their areas of strength rather than focusing on the limitations or what the child is not good at. Don't keep troubling children by constantly speaking about what they are not able to do. So they're able to do certain things, and the focus should be on what they're able to do rather than what they are not able to do. So it is very important for us to know the aptitude of the child, in which subject conceptual knowledge is more for the child. The child need not be great at all the subjects, but somewhere exclusively that one subject, maybe um, mathematics, they may be very good at. They may be interested and they're very good at it, or they're very good at art and craft skills, or they're very good at fine arts, and they're good at socializing. They have a very good way of presenting themselves without stage fear. They can talk, they can deliver a talk. No, these are all some areas of strengths of some children. And when it comes to career, still everybody doesn't have to be a doctor or an engineer. Based on what they're good at and what they're interested in, and what is their overall personality, to have an understanding about their overall personality. Yeah. So getting back. So thirdly, checking for their distractions is very important. My child might not always be not performing well because of some academic lack, but also Some reasons can be distractions. Those distractions can be like excessive gadget time, watching TV for a long time, or video games. Excessive gadget usage, like I think as mental health professionals, you would have also seen such cases. So, what can allotting a child with a remedial trainer help with? So, what can a remedial trainer do? So, remedial trainer is someone who's educated with dealing with special educational strategies, have some exposure in special education. A person who will teach them the subject understanding your child's learning style. So, some of them will ask us if we can take tuitions for students who are not able to perform enough, who have difficulty subjectively in getting pass marks. But I don't think we call it as tuitions, but I think it is about the work we can do, is about how we can help them learn the subject in a style in which they can in connect with the kind of strategies we are equipped with. First, understanding the child. What are the child's challenges? Which is the area the child has a lag in? And based on that, I design a individual education plan for that child and give one-on-one attention. Give one-on-one attention to help the child. It's very important to teach them the basics when it is lagging. So for some of them, they might be in third standard or fourth standard, but still, it's very saddening that like alphabets also they're not very clear with. I have seen this in some of the schools where we run camps. Short vowels, long vowels, even that is a problem. Then how do they go to the next level of studies when the teaching medium is in English? They need to know English in order to perform well in whatever subject. Otherwise, in the medium in which I'm trying to learn the subject and the medium through which I'm trying to give the presentation is again the test or the exam, whatever I'm giving out is again the same medium I should be well versed in. Otherwise, I cannot give good performance. So, basic knowledge of English is necessary because English is our lingua franca through which we are dealing with the world in terms of business. Whether you are going directly abroad, you're going for higher studies, or tomorrow you're going to work in an IT sector, we are going to be somewhere connected with the worldwide standards. To fit into that, it is a necessity for us to know English, to converse in English, to write in English. All this is like very important. So if there is a lag in the language, we need to equip them with the necessary skills. Will build your child's self confidence. Yes, your special educator, your remedial trainer will work on building your child's confidence, even when it is like kind of tuition where you're leaving your child. I've heard this from children that they keep scolding them in front of the other children. There also they're classified. There also they segregated as the ones who are not studying well, because their parents will question them if they are not able to pass. So they will, in front of the child, say a few negative words about the learning abilities of that child. That is actually very hurting. Even when it is a general counseling process, we will not talk about what are the deficits of that particular child in front of that child. We will not do that. So we'll ask the child to wait in the waiting hall, and we speak to the parent in the counseling room, and then call and work with the child, and even talk to the child and ask what is their opinion, what is their understanding, what is their struggle. Directly with them also we work. So nowhere that the confidence of the child should be affected. So when I used to do these kind of camps, there might be statements of self introduction. I am dash in studies. Many children who are not doing well in studies use the term poor. I am. They're honest. They're being honest and they're telling what they know. I'm poor in studies. But I will tell them, don't write this way. Please mention this way. I am good at studies. I'm hardworking. Or I'm doing smart work in studies. However you want, you can frame it. Don't use such negative words. You are doing whatever you can. You are putting in whatever efforts you are, um, like giving. Give more efforts, whatever you can try. Okay, but don't put yourself down by, don't use these kind of statements. No, I don't encourage this kind of statements because it's not acceptable. Nobody can evaluate themselves saying I'm poor. That to children. No? What are we teaching our children? To be less confident, to feel disrespectful of themselves? No. And as I told you, focusing on the strengths and then enhancing the ability to problem solve and critical thinking. This is something very, very important when it comes to fill in the blanks, choose the correct answer, and the kind of the questions are being framed. No, to answer to that question, it needs a little bit of effort for us to think. No, so problem solving and critical thinking is something that they try to develop in schools for children. Even mathematics, a lot of analytical thinking is involved. So certain areas in which they need these kind of skills, it's also somewhere connected with our life skills. So and thereby I feel that this needs to be used. Work with your child and you. Nothing can progress without the parent. Definitely, after school hours, the parents are the ones who are really giving whatever best they can to help their children. So, without the support of the parent and without the participation of the parent, nothing can happen. So, it's very important for the parent to be part of the learning process, to equip themselves with more information, and what should I do in order to help my child perform better in their academics. How do I help my child? So I should know the reasons and where the lag is in order for me to interact often with the remedial trainer to know what to do next. Mind mapping techniques are like quite easy. Mind mapping techniques, we give importance to images and colors. For example, if I'm studying a lesson about trees, so rather than like studying 4 pages of a textbook, I can teach the child this in a very simpler way by putting a tree in the center and putting some branches emerging from that concept of tree. And the branches can have different things like uses, and what else, what trees provide, and photosynthesis, whatever can be, from those branches again we have sub branches. About the leaves, it can be about the fruits, it can be about the roots, it can be about shelter, it can be about wood, it can be about medicinal value. Like that, there are branches and sub branches for that concept. We can represent it with pictures or use sketch pens to write it. So the importance in mind mapping is given to colors. And then when this is made like a kind of chart, it will be very useful rather than reading 4 pages of the textbook. So the child will be very clear about the main heading, the subheading, and the whatever is the content here and there, the terms. So with which the child can definitely manage to perform better. So these kind of uh, m- like teaching itself, when I'm making a child sit next to me and teaching the child the subject in this way, will be more helpful to the child to remember the terms. When the child has some difficulty in remembering, some will come and tell us that I studied, I did all the work the day before, ma'am, but the very next day I forgot the concepts. Such kind of things that they tell us. And this is a one example of how we can help. And helping children to better focus and concentrate. Nowadays, focus and the span of attention has become less. So, the kind of exercises we can provide to them, some simple exercises for concentration, which we can teach them, which will help them to enhance their nervous system. Nothing very tough. It can be as simple as breathing activities, or in something in connect with yoga, which has some scientific evidence of improving the focus and concentration of children, because nowadays the distractions are too much and screen time is also too much. So what, for whatever reasons, these can be helpful to them. And most important is to schedule a timetable. So why do we need this kind of a support system? Because there is no proper plan of how I'm going to execute it. So to have a plan of how many hours I'm going to spend on education, how much of time I'm going to give for relaxation, how much of time I'm going to give for sleep. Sleep is something very important for a child to give better performance in whatever they are doing, whether it is academics or sports or some competition, extracurricular activities. Sleep of a minimal of 6 to 7 hours is mandatory for a child. So sometimes I have homework, I'm doing this work, I'm doing that work, I'm going for some extra classes, that this, and I sleep late, I wake up early again, and I go to school, and then I'm not able to concentrate on what my mom is teaching. I'm sleeping in my classroom, or I indulge in daydreaming. So rather than having this kind of a structure, have a proper timetable, a remedial trainer based on the need of the child. As I told you, it differs from individual to individual. Individual education plan can help that person to like the particular remedial trainer for that particular child to come up with a kind of schedule which the child can stick in her or his room, and work accordingly. Behavior modification again is something of a concern for many parents and teachers, because, for as I mentioned, because of the distractions of whatever that particular child can be facing through. Here we are not talking generally about it, because the distraction for every child differs. Commonly, maybe it can be internet addiction, social media addiction, whatever it is. And lifestyle modification. Lifestyle modification is what is the kind of food I'm eating. As I mentioned, how many hours I'm sleeping. No, every day I'm getting some pocket money. Soon after school, when I'm going home, on the way, I'm eating junk food. It can be any kind of masal food I'm eating, or any kind of packed food that I'm eating rather than eating at home. These can be triggers. So maybe already that particular child has a little certain amount of hyperactivity, because of which I'm not able to sit and study or sit and write the exam properly. While like adding to that, pouring oil to what I already have, maybe I'm indulging in something else. I mean, I'm talking about the eating styles. No, some preservatives which are not good for the health, mental health, physical health, or some additive colors which are not good for us. Biscuits, which are said to made of maida, and many doctors don't suggest to you give biscuits to children. So such things, no, can a lifestyle also to also keep that individual physically active. To interact with the real world is very important for that child to learn social skills, life skills, and to also be physically active. Any kind of sports or cycling or playing in the neighborhood can help the child. So this kind of plan can be made by the remedial trainer, and the main focus will be on the syllabus framed. I'm just giving you a gist of how generally they help a child, from teaching short vowels to long vowels to, um, we call it phonics, no, how you pronounce it, the pronunciation of the letters. Syllabification is, if there's a word, say photosynthesis, how do we decode it? How do we split it up and then read it together, encode it? How do we put it together? So there's a technique in which we teach children about it. Digraphs. Digraphs is like, we it's a kind of blend words, in the sense there are some vowels. There are 5 vowels in the alphabet, and the remaining are consonants, 21 consonants. So when the vowels and consonants come together, it makes a sound. So there is a methodology in which we blend two consonants together with a vowel, and no, these kind of words, letters put together, when it forms a word, we call them blending words. There are sight words, and if someone is not able to catch up immediately to frame a sentence, we use pictorial representations, and a kind of mapping for sentence formation. From sentence formation, then taking it to paragraph writing. So these can help better reading writing abilities, and this is what a remedial trainer is already trained in. And with the help of worksheets, along with whatever subjects your child is studying, this can be helpful. So a small example of individual education plan. Suppose if the chronological age, the biological age of the child is 9 years old, after giving the, say, a Charnel graded test, we are conducting a test, and we come to know that their reading age is 7 years 8 months, and their spelling age is how they write is 7 years 2 months. Then we work on remedials for them. We work on remediation for them for a period of 6 months to 1 year. That is a minimal period. So after that, we will definitely be able to see improvements of the child's intelligence and memory is good. We are not talking about major conditions like mental retardation or autism where they can have low IQ. Not everyone with autism has low IQ. I'm talking about maybe if it's a case of classic autism, there can be these kind of challenges. I'm not at all getting into that category. It is like someone with some basic difficulties and challenges of because of whatever deficits or whatever lacks they have, they are not up to the mark. One of the main reason can be this COVID time classes went online, so my child did not know the basics. That time my child was in second standard or third standard, so my child still does not know the basics. There are some children who have now gone to higher classes, but that same whatever they know in second standard they carried forward, they're carrying forward in fifth standard or sixth standard now. So that is a challenge for the teacher as well as the parent. Sometimes the child can have great difficulty with English and mathematics, but conceptually the child can be very good at science. The concepts the child will grasp very fast. Child is equipped well with information to even uh, present an exhibition and speak about it. I've seen children who are so good at it, but at the same time, they have also these kind of challenges with reading and writing. Sometimes it can be a challenge like a dyslexia where they're interchanging the letters and writing. So these and all can be rectified, and we can help them improve. And distraction can be too much of usage of mobile phone, where we can in the education plan we can set up the timing or only from this time to this time the child can use the mobile phone. Later on the child is not going to work on it, so all this can be discussed with the child along with the parent who accompanies the child, and frequent supervision by the parent along with the remedial trainer can definitely bring a lot of improvements in the uh, life of a child. It can be in terms of performance, the overall performance, not only marks. Understanding the concepts, being more proactive in the classroom, and I'm able to grasp the subjects, able to improve their concentration and focus, and to be equally good in sports, to be taking initiatives to participate in extracurricular activities, and to play, to enjoy, to have friends, and overall to be happy. So, this is what we are looking at, and no, this is what I wanted to talk about today. If you have any questions, you can go ahead. Anyone has anything to ask or you want to give some feedback, please go ahead. Hope things were clear to you. So, if at all you know anyone in your known circle, children who are suffering with these kind of challenges, please do get in touch with your uh, school counselor. If there is a school counselor in the school who can refer a special educator or can conduct special education classes, or anyone whom you know in your circle. But I would definitely not suggest online classes because children who need more attention, we need to like make them sit next to us, give them the physical presence and attention before we move to the next, because when it is online I've done that. It was not for me, but when I was working as a consultant for a school, I was requested to take it up. So then it was difficult for me to do the correction part. No, they won't be writing. You cannot orally dictate or tell them and write when they're already having struggles. And so, like that way, Offline would be the best methodology for you to like work with the students, is my suggestion. If anyone else has something to add on, you want to speak about something, please feel free to share your inputs. Anyone? Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Nice session, ma'am. More inputs were useful and uh, very true that most of the children are facing few issues and they don't have proper support system to understand them. That's the major difficulty they are facing. அவங்க கஷ்டப்படுறாங்கன்னு தெரியுது but still no, like you as you said in many schools, I'm not telling about all the teachers. Few teachers are there very dedicatedly supporting teachers, but few are there who target those kids who uh, s- throw some words and hurt them by the gestures also. So still children are facing that issues. First, as an adults, we have to understand that all kids are not the same, and all kids now need to be the toppers of the class. So the acceptance should be there for us first of all. So if it is there means even as a parent or a teacher, whoever it may be, first this I hate this culture of asking the marks in public from children. I personally never do that, and I don't encourage people asking marks of students like as you said, 10th marks, 12th marks, whatever it may be. Now they are asking grades also, even if they are younger children, they are in functions of, this is the main reason young children not interested to join in the functions. They are not, they are hesitating to come out. Let me stay at home, let me watch TV, let me watch mobile or phone or play games, and that like that they want to restrict themselves from society because of these few words or gestures. They are not interested to join.
Hmm.
So it's learning for us also
Definitely.
to we should understand that. That's all. Thanks for the session, ma'am.
Anyone else wants to speak?
Yes, ma'am. It was a very good session.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, it was a very good session, ma'am. Just I want to ask you that there are students of class ninth and 10th. At present, I am a counselor, school counselor. I am working as a school counselor. Some students of class ninth, 10th students, now they are not, they, though we speak to them separately, uh, they are not ready to focus in their studies. They are not at all bothered about even if it is board exams. They are not paying much attention. They are not serious about it. Though we tell everything, they are not much serious about it. What could be done for that, ma'am?
Ma'am, I think that also can again be different from individual to individual. As a team, when they want to project themselves, they want to be a part of a group, then they like try to show this kind of an image to us. But we actually don't know what their requirements are. I think as a counselor, we have a very important role to provide them career guidance. So we can meet up students for a career guidance session where you can administer some paper pencil tests on aptitude, interest, personality, to give them, bring them some seriousness when they are made to think. When I give a questionnaire on career awareness, when I give them a
Okay.
questionnaire, many of them will not know answers for many questions because they did not think about it earlier. So when we are putting
Okay.
them in such a space, it makes them self think and self analyze. And I've also understood that certain sessions they might sit and talk, but certain sessions which you are conducting, they will not talk because they are thinking, because it will
Okay.
give them a kind of space to introspect of what I really know. So, as a counselor, you alone cannot be struggling, but it also depends on the responsibility of the principal, the co teachers, and coordinators who can help us to facilitate this, because it's not possible
Mhm.
for us alone to work on it.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much, ma'am. One more thing that I'm having a student. who's not innocent, but he doesn't want to study also. If we tell him like that subject teachers are telling that take the book and sit, even if he's having the book in his bag, he tells I don't have the book. He doesn't want to take the book, and the nearby students are telling he's having the book in the bag, but he doesn't take it. At the same time, he is not interested to study also. When I gave him a test to analyze how much what is his level, he's able to read 2 letter 3 letter words, or even 5 letter words, not beyond that. And I think he's a COVID batch, as you to explained. I was hearing about that. So he's like that, and parents also, they are telling they are putting effort, but that boy is not up to that. So I call him, and I'm giving him like personal attention in teaching him also. So but at class he is not behaving properly. What could be done for that, ma'am? All the teachers are complaining about that boy.
There will be a need for more investigation into what is actually happening with him. Just with these inputs, we cannot come to a conclusion about the boy. We don't know what actually his problem is. So sometimes when everybody is like, say, cornering one particular boy, if he feels
Mm.
so, I'm not saying that we are doing it. Maybe he feels
Mhm.
so. Then obviously, some at in teenage, if he is in teenage, can be
He's
more
in
resistant.
he's in sixth standard.
Okay.
But first when I spoke to him, I thought that he must be innocent, but he is behaving like he's not innocent. That is I'm damn sure about it. He's like what he's talking with all the children. Even he's in sixth standard, but he's going and talking to other children and telling one girl that I am loving this girl, and he's telling to all the children like that. These type of things he is doing. And when we took him to the principal ma'am also, he was telling that principal ma'am told that I'll give you TC. He came to the class and he told TC will be given. I am happy. I'm going out of the school. He's telling
மேம்,
like
ஐ
that.
திங்க்
I
ஹி
don't
இஸ்
know.
மோர் பிளேஃபுல். அண்ட் இதெல்லாம் வந்து நம்ம பெரிய தப்பாக வந்து எடுத்துக்க முடியாது. அண்ட் பை சேயிங் தட் ஒன் பர்டிகுலர் சைல்டு இஸ் நாட் இன்னசென்ட், அவன் இன்னசென்ட் இல்லை அப்படின்னு சொல்கிறதே ஒரு ஜட்ஜ்மெண்ட்டுன்னு நான் நினைக்கிறேன். We cannot be judgmental. Maybe we can discuss about that this case later, because I think as a
Okay.
counselor it's more important for you to be empathetic towards your client,
Yeah. Okay, ma'am.
your student.
Okay. Okay. Okay,
மேடம்.
ma'am. Thank you.
Yes.
எஸ் மேடம், ஆக்சுவலி ரொம்ப நல்லா இருந்தது மேடம். லாட் ஆஃப் ஆக்சுவலி யூ ஷேர் லாட் ஆஃப் யூஸ்ஃபுல் திங்ஸ் மேடம். மை கொஸ்டின் மேடம், யூ செட் நோ தட் எஜுகேஷன் பிளான், some that plan. Actually my daughter currently she is doing 5th standard, my daughter. Actually many times I made a plan for him. Actually you have to spend 10 minutes 15 minutes for mathematics, but she never responds for my advice. Number one, madam, my daughter problem. But academic wise, what I observed, my daughter is good, madam. Good in the sense, as you said, on concept wise, she is very strong. Actually. In even science and all the concept, no, she observed in very fast. And even if we raise any question, madam, immediately she would reply related in all kind of sciences, history. But she is facing problem in mathematics. Mathematics, even though we put training and extra effort, only 60 to 70 percentage mark only she secured. And again another problem and listening. Actually, what we observe now, board பார்த்து ஒழுங்கா எழுதிட்டு வர மாட்டான். போர்டு கிளாஸில் போர்டு அப்படியே விட்டுட்டு வந்துடுவா. நிறையா இதில் எல்லாமே விட்டுட்டு வந்துடுவா. பட் ஆனால் மார்க்ஸ் மற்ற சப்ஜெக்ட் எல்லாம் மார்க்ஸ் எடுத்துறா. டீச்சர்ஸ் என்ன சொல்கிறாங்க, அவள் கவனிக்கிற மாதிரியே இருக்காது, எங்கேயோ இது பண்ணிகிட்டு இருப்பா, ஆனால் மார்க்ஸ் வாங்கிடுறா. அதுதான் எங்களுக்கு எல்லாம் மார்க்ஸ்னால் நல்ல மார்க்ஸ் 90 அந்த மாதிரி 95 அப்படி வாங்கிடுறா. மற்ற சப்ஜெக்ட்லாம்
Yeah,
மேக்ஸ் மட்டும்.
yeah, understand, sir. What is your question?
இல்லை இப்போ இந்த மாதிரி இதெல்லாம் எப்படிங்க மேடம் நாங்கள் ஹேண்டில் பண்ணுறது? அவள் வந்து மேக்ஸ் ரொம்ப இதா இருக்கா? வீக்கா இருக்கா? எதுவுமே லிசன் பண்ண
No,
மாட்டேங்கிறா கிளாஸ்.
throughout இப்போ வந்து whatever I told you is again is what I told you about to not focus on marks. So your child is only in fifth standard, so we don't have to like take it much serious. As long as she understands the concepts and there is no complaint raised against her, right?
ம். எஸ்.
So I think
பட் அது
let
போர்ட
them.
பார்த்து எழுத மாட்டேங்கிறா மேடம்.
No,
போர்ட பார்த்து என்ன எழுதிட்டு வர மாட்டேன்றா.
maybe that
விட்டுர்றா.
you can tell her slowly. As I told you, no, some they might be playful, or that focus or concentration to look at the board and copy is less. So
ம்.
இப்போதைக்கு because she's only in fifth standard, we don't have to like take it too much serious. But you can tell her, you can teach her that she has to see and write. She has to copy down. And I think the teacher has to take a little bit of responsibility to see whether the child has copied or not. Right. So அதனால only they've introduced the system like they don't make children sit in rows. Like the
ம்.
first row, second row மாதிரி இல்லாம there's a kind of uh, classroom setting can be students can be seated in a circular way, semi-circular way, where nobody becomes a last bencher. So that
ஓகே.
time individual attention to can be given to the child. And nowadays in many schools, along with the main teacher, there's also a shadow teacher who's also present in the class, who helps children to check whether they're copying the notes and all that. I think certain responsibilities the teacher also can take.
பட் டீச்சர்ஸ் வந்து எங்கள்ட்ட தான் கம்ப்ளைண்ட் பண்றாங்க மேடம். அவங்க
You tell them,
எழுத
you tell them that you have informed your child to copy down properly, and in case that particular day the child has not copied, please do inform me, let me know, so that the next day I will inform that to my child and put them a word.
ம்.
You do put ask them, they can also take responsibility, right? It's not only the parents, because it's not happening at home, it's happening in school.
எஸ்.
That is why I'm telling all adults are responsible. Whether I am a counselor, I'm a teacher, or I'm a parent, I'm also responsible. Equal responsibility, not the blame game, no.
ம்.
That some schools they play, or sometimes நீ parents தான் பண்ணணும், ஸ்கூல்ல எல்லாம் பண்ணிட்டோன்ற மாதிரி பண்ணுவாங்க. சில பேரண்ட்ஸ் என்ன பண்ணுவாங்க, நாங்கள் வீட்டில் டியூஷன்லலாம் ரொம்ப நல்லா பண்ணுறாங்க, உங்கள் ஸ்கூலில் தான் சரியாக பெர்ஃபார்ம் பண்ணுறது இல்லைன்ற மாதிரி சொல்லுவாங்க. ஸோ அந்த மாதிரி ப்ளேம் கேம் இல்லாமல் அவங்களுக்கு என்ன இம்பார்ட்டண்ட்டோ, அவங்களுக்கு எது தேவைப்படுதோ அதில் இஃப் வி ஃபோக்கஸ், ஐ திங்க் இட் ஷுட் பி பெட்டர்.
ஓகே.
Alright, so thank you for your participation. Yeah, thank you, Amala ma'am. And I request my participants to stay back, and the others kindly feel free to leave the forum.